Welcome to Garage419. I'm Matt from the New York Motor Club. Joining me today to talk about all sorts of automotive topics, Mike Spinelli from Jalodnik.com.
Hi, Matt, or should I say Mr. Burns?
Mr. Burns, yes. Now, the New York Auto Show's in town. I've been there the past few days checking out everything, and one thing that caught my eye was the new Pontiac version of the El Camino. Have you seen this thing?
Yes, I have. Yeah, no, it's right, the Pontiac G8 sport truck.
Right.
Is that the...
But I just refuse to call it anything but the El Camino, since that's really what it is.
Well, that's the that's the kind of the weird thing about it is that Pontiac hasn't named it yet, so it's the until anybody says anything different, it's the El Camino. I mean,
yeah.
What else could it be? Although it's a Pontiac.
I mean, I think it should be a Chevy and be an El Camino, but Pontiac is really desperate for models at this point. I mean, they don't really have much going on other than the standard sedans.
Well, I mean, it's part of the whole Bob Lutz, bring back Pontiac from the dead kind of project.
And Pontiac was pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, in New York they rolled out three cars. It was they rolled out the
new
G8.
Solstice.
Right, the Solstice
Coupe, the
sure.
G8, and this thing.
Well, the G8 GXP, right? That's
right.
The
the Corvette engine.
with the Corvette with the
right.
LS3 engine in it. But I mean, and the unnamed pickup car.
Right, and I mean, I see where they're going with it. I mean. The one problem I have with all the American car companies right now, well, one of several problems I have, is that everything they're coming out with is this 70s, late 60s, early 70s revival kind of thing. I mean, why can't the El Camino just be in the past and be fondly remembered as the El Camino? Why do we need a new retro future version of it?
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, the thing is that I think what they need is something to kind of really kind of startle people. I mean, obviously not everybody knows that the El Camino never really went away, or the Ute, what they call it in Australia. It never really went away in Australia. So now that the kind of rear drive, GM's rear drive platform is a product of Holden in Australia, they're just bringing all the stuff from Australia over.
The GTO.
So I mean, it's kind of. The thing is, it's going to attract attention to Pontiac, kind of the attention that it needed when it came out with the what the heck was that stupid car called? The Aztec. The Aztec was negative attention.
The Aztec
this
is
horrible. Positive attention. That's
we'll see. I think the defining factor will be is if it's actually useful as a truck.
Right.
If it's just a novelty, it's not going to go anywhere. So moving right along.
Okay.
Lewis Hamilton, Formula One star. Has been promised, apparently, by McLaren that if he wins the points championship and they win the constructors championship, which is what the manufacturers championship essentially,
right. Sure.
that they will give him their last remaining McLaren F1LM, which is sitting in the factory showroom right now.
The LM is the special edition.
Special edition, bright orange McLaren F1.
Right, because when they won Le Mans in what 95.
95, yeah.
So they built this car. It's like worth a tremendous amount of money.
I've
like
heard $4 to $5 million.
$4 grand. A little more than $4 grand.
It's a Pinto.
Exactly.
$4 to $5 million. It's lighter. It's faster. It's got straight cut gears in it, like the race car. And they've all been spoken for except the one factory car.
And so, what's it worth to McLaren? I mean, McLaren got screwed out of the championship last year because of their dude. They got caught in the Ferrari spying scandal thing. So
yeah.
Well,
are they out of money and they just want to give him a car instead of giving him money in the equivalent value?
I don't know.
Are they hurting for cash?
It's also good publicity because we're talking about it. I don't know. I mean, I think Hamilton, of course, has a fantastic shot this year. He's ahead in the points already, and hey, offer him whatever the hell he wants at this point because they need it.
And it is my favorite car ever made, so I hope he gets it. And
sure.
I hope he gets it. I hope he sells it to me. Now, Ford has decided to sell Jaguar and Land Rover to Tata, which is an Indian-based company. Right?
Fantastic. Yes.
And I guess they got $1.7 billion was the net amount transferred because they assumed some debt.
Right. It was I think it was $600 million in pension stuff for the workers in the UK.
Now, so they started by selling off Aston. Now they're selling off Jaguar and Land Rover. What does this mean for Ford, really?
Well, I think it's good for Ford because it sort of brings focus back. I mean, Ford is an American car company. I mean, they tried this whole thing,
with British thing,
with PAG, with all this, their premium cars. I don't know. It just showed you know, they dumped so much damn money into Jag and Land Rover over the last 10 years since they've owned it.
And unfortunately, they haven't really produced any cars that are exceptional in any way.
Yeah, and it's sort of like, I don't know whether Ford ever really locked into what those brands, those real luxury brands mean.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it worked a little bit with Aston Martin.
It did. Their cars became reliable, and they're certainly selling them in more volume now.
Right.
But they, at the same time, like Jaguar and Aston Martin were always kind of a small volume manufacturers to begin with. I mean,
Right.
is the Fordization of those brands, for lack of a better word, is it diluting those brands a little bit to the point where they actually need recovery from that?
Right, that's actually a really good point. And the other thing with Tata is that they're not just a cheap car company. I mean, they have...
I mean, you think India, and it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen to these cars?
Exactly. But India, you know, Tata actually runs luxury hotels that cost like $4,000 a night or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they're used to... They actually have more luxury brand experience than Ford has. So, you know, hey, maybe it'll be good for those two brands.
What I'm really interested in seeing is will Tata improve Jaguar and Land Rover, you know, beyond what Ford has done? Because to be perfectly honest, I don't really think they could do much worse.
I don't know. I like the XK. But.
Coming up on second half of Garage 419, we're going to talk about the Smart Fortwo. Is it actually worth the kind of money they're charging? Stick around. You know, me and Gene, whole Garage 419 crew, we spend countless seconds a day thinking of new ways to entertain you people out there in internet land. But what I really want to know, you know, I'm out of ideas. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm out of ideas, okay? I've done everything I know how to do. So why don't you do me a favor? Send me an email, suggestions@garage419.com. If you know of a car show, a cool event, a tuning shop in your area you want us to come visit, you want us to debate a topic on the show, let us know. I'll read every single email. If it's not too stupid, I might actually even do it. And be sure to check out new content on Garage 419 every Tuesday and Thursday. You know where, garage419.com. Welcome back to Garage 419. We're talking about cars, as we always do on this show. And the new hot, sold-out car in this country is the Smart Fortwo. Am I right?
Yes, the Smart. Well, it's the first time it's actually for sale from the company in America.
14 grand with a few options in it. It's got 70 horsepower, it goes 90 miles an hour, and it gets 33 city and 41 highway miles to the gallon. Now, I drove one of these, and I really didn't like how it drove. I thought it was like too slow to get out of its own way, really.
Well, you're not exactly, you know.
Well, I added a few pounds to the weight of the car, I guess. Maybe it was just too slow to get out of my way.
Right.
But anyway,
the car was screaming.
We wanted to see, you know, how it compared to other cars. So the Honda Fit is about the same price, it's within a couple of grand, similarly equipped. It gets 28 city and 34 highway, and it has 110 horsepower. So it can actually, it's got a good bit more go than the Smart car has. Now, and it's also, by the way, got a back seat and, you know, power windows and air conditioning and stuff that the Smart car doesn't come with. So
yeah, there is that.
Why do you think somebody would want to take a Smart car over something like that?
Well, I mean, I guess first thing it could be size. It's a lot smaller.
Well, it's because there's no back seat.
Well,
and
there's no back seat.
Trunk.
That's a problem. I mean, again, it's really partially part of that fashion thing that made the Mini do so well in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
So do you think
different.
it's just the trendy thing?
Yeah, well, first of all, absolutely. I mean, you can't deny that the Smart is going to benefit from the trendy aspect of it. The fact that, you know, it's cool. It's never been seen before. They're going to do the accessories thing like Mini did, so you can just outfit it with different colors and all kinds of junk.
Well, do you think that the kind of person who would buy a Honda Fit would be like a lower class or someone who has a smaller budget, whereas someone who would buy a Smart car could actually afford a much more expensive car but just wants to kind of be on that bandwagon?
Well, I'm sure, you know, Smart wants that to be the case.
Yeah.
As far as the Fit goes, I mean, that's really sort of a car for people who, I mean, it's a great car. I really like the Fit a lot.
Yeah, I mean, as far as a car that is economical and spacious and probably very reliable, it's a good car.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably for somebody more in line who's looking for a car that's more utilitarian.
Yeah.
And whereas the Smart will probably pick up people in the city who maybe it's not, you know, maybe they wouldn't have even bought a car if there wasn't something that small. maybe.
So do you? Is it your opinion that the smart car is worth $14,000 to $16,000?
Well, to me personally, you know, I mean, I'm more of the fit kind of guy, but I could definitely see somebody in the city wearing this thing as, you know, a trendy jacket or something.
Yeah.
You know, like buying one, driving it around the city. It's easy to park.
Yeah.
It's kind of, but you're not going to see this thing out in Kansas. And actually,
No.
you might see a fit, you know, because you can actually lug stuff home from Walmart in a fit.
Yeah.
Not so much in the Smart.
Personally, I'd rather spend 18 grand on a base Mini. But anyway, moving right along. So we're all aware of the continuing Nick Hogan story. He wrecked his Supra,
Yeah.
nearly killed his friend, and they just released the police photos of the accident. It's pretty gruesome.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
that car
it's
is
horrible.
done, and it's a miracle anyone survived
He
that.
stacked up that Supra beyond belief.
Oh, it's bad. So, of course, as you could probably expect, Nick Hogan's friend, and I'm sorry I don't remember his name, if you're in the hospital, you can't watch this anyway, so you won't be offended. His family is suing Hulk Hogan, claiming that, you know, obviously that's where the money is, and, you know, he gave him a really fast sports car when maybe he shouldn't have. You know, do you think that Hulk should have not let Nick Hogan been driving a 600 horsepower Supra?
Well, I mean, the problem is, first of all, Nick is an adult, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, when it comes to lawsuits, I mean, you know, he should know that his dad is a very rich guy with a tremendous public
big name,
profile.
big reputation,
big name, and a
lots
target,
of money.
a target for something like this. So,
Yeah.
you know, obviously Nick Hogan was a car enthusiast. He worked out, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he did some work on his cars, and I saw on the show he was taking drifting lessons or whatever.
Yeah, but
where,
I mean,
by the way, he smashed a Viper into a wall on his first turn.
Yeah, I mean, I really, yeah, I mean, I think he should have been a little bit more cognizant of his position, you know, as a public figure, and the fact that anything he did will inevitably translate into a liability for his dad. So, yeah, I mean, you know, of course, Hulk should have schooled the kid a little bit better. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he tried. I mean, I didn't really watch that show.
I mean, he could have tried. So. You know, I personally, I'm not one to normally blame the parents for what the kids do, because I wouldn't want someone blaming my parents for things that I did when I was younger.
I'm sure they.
But at the same time, Nick Hogan admittedly had a horrific driving record. He had gotten speeding tickets, reckless driving. I think he'd been in accidents before. Not to mention wrecking that Viper on the track. If I was Hulk Hogan, I wouldn't put that kid in a fast car. Well, if you want to buy him an expensive car, get him an Escalade, get him a truck, get him a Mercedes. But don't buy him a single turbo conversion Supra, you know, and put him out on the street where he's going to be racing Vipers and smashing into trees.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Supras, you know, you can do a lot to a Supra to get that horsepower way the hell up there. And yeah, I mean, it could have been that after some of that, some of those other incidents, he should have taken a little more tough love, you know, a little heavier hand. And it's not like the Hulkster can't do it, you know. He probably,
like he can't muscle his way around.
Right. I mean, you know, it's a shame that what happened. But I mean, the kid, you know, Nick should have, you know, freaking taken his life a little more seriously.
Yeah.
And by life, I don't mean just his own life, but the fact that what he does as a public figure, has a much greater effect on his own circumstances.
Well, I'm sure this will settle out a case at a court. I mean, Hulk he'll pay out. You know, and there'll be a settlement, and hopefully, you know, hopefully eventually Nick Hogan's friend will get better, and they'll all be able to move on with their lives.
Well, it's all bad all around, so what are you going to do?
Thanks for watching. Check us out every Tuesday and Thursday right here on Garage419.